Okay, sixth grade. For reading today, we're going to pick up where you left off on Wednesday with Miss Victor. So on Wednesday, you guys did some important reading work in popularity. So you came up with different character traits for Will, and then you were sent off to read the first part of your short story, um, and you investigated some of your main character's traits. Now, take a second and get out your student work guide. Look at some of the traits you wrote down for the main character in your story and put a star next to what you see as your character's strongest trait. So, the work you did in your short story is the same that you did on Wednesday in popularity. But your short stories are different, so you found different traits. Some of your characters might seem foolish, some are tough, some are scary. There's going to be a wide range of different traits that you found. Um, so, as you did this work, I'm interested if you found yourself maybe changing your mind as you kept reading. So, I am actually reading The Hunger Games for the first time. And I found myself changing my mind about Katniss's traits. So, at first, I thought she's very strong. Um, But then as I kept reading, I thought, I'm not sure that she is strong, and maybe that's why she doesn't trust anyone. So my thoughts are continually changing, and this kind of thinking and rethinking is significant. And that's the best thinking that can occur. So today's teaching point, I want to emphasize that in complicated stories, characters reveal themselves over time. So let's try this with the character traits that we came up with for Will from popularity. So let's think about Will as being bitter. Once you have a theory about a character, it's important to read on with that theory in mind, looking to see if there's any evidence to support that theory. So let's look for evidence that Will seems bitter. So one piece of evidence that shows that Will is bitter is that he talks about how much he hates picking clovers with the Allens. Another one is that he's been doing it for 6 months, so it's been dragging on for a long time. But now that I think about it, as we kept reading on, I couldn't help but wonder, after Will leaves the Allens and joins the popular kids, is he still bitter? I'm thinking about whether he's bitter or something else. Does he have some sort of personality change? So while we're thinking about this, I'm going to go back and reread a section from popularity. I wondered what my position in the group might be. I certainly wasn't a great athlete, student, or ladies' man, but I did have a sense of humor. Maybe I could be the second funniest boy in fourth grade. My thoughts went no further because the bell ending recess rang. But that night, just before I fell asleep, I saw myself standing in the center of the popular boys, telling the funniest stories anyone has ever heard. I saw Sean Owens doubled up with laughter. I saw myself triumphant. So, as we look back at that, what I'm doing here is something that you can also do. I took a trait, the bitter trait from Will, and thought whether or not it holds true across the text. In this instance, I was kind of expecting Will to be bitter forever. But later, as we read on, doesn't he seem kind of different? I'm thinking that he might change across the story. Think of it if you've ever met someone and you form an opinion about them early on, but then as time goes on, you realize that maybe they're not the same as you originally thought. Characters in books and in short stories can be the same way too. It's important that as you look across the book and gather more evidence, that you realize um, that characters can change. Now I'm seeing a new side of Will. He starts to imagine himself in a new position, and he seems hopeful and confident that he can get what he wants. Maybe at the start he wasn't bitter as much as he was longing for something more. Then, as we read on, I started to realize maybe he's hopeful. He hopes he can be the second funniest kid in the grade, and he imagines new roles he'll play in the group. So for independent work today, I want you guys to take the same idea to the second half of your short story and revise thinking about your main character's traits. So include specific evidence from the story to show that trait. This work can be done in your student work guide under today's date. And if you guys have any questions, please reach. Thank you.